up? It's Dramos, and this is the recap. A very exciting show today. So one of my favorite music acts is going to be joining me. I'm going to have Walshy Fire of the supergroup Major Lazer hopping on and chopping it up in just a little bit. Of course, we're going to be running down some of this last week's top stories. Our girl B. Marie crushing it on LATV mornings via IG Live. So she broke down a bunch of different things this week. So I'm going to dive into a few of those by myself, and then we'll bring on Walshy, and he'll kind of give us his take on a few things as well. And also, actually, this whole week was crazy. There was even news breaking after she did her live. So we'll get into that story as well that broke, that has everybody in an uproar as we're here in the weekend. Now, starting with one of the biggest stories of the week was obviously the presidential debate. It was the first debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Let's be real. The only way to describe it, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Shit show. That's the only way you could describe it. You basically had two grown men just trying to talk over one another. And I have to say, this isn't the fault of Joe Biden, who came there prepared and ready to debate the facts. Now, our president, Donald Trump, instead, his strategy was apparently just to scream over Joe Biden so loudly that he would not be able to put any sort of facts out there. So that was his tactic. And to be quite frank, it was embarrassing. America, obviously, always on the world stage. And that was just a terrible showing and an embarrassment for other people to see the way our country is right now. And these are supposed to be, the people who are supposed to be leading the free world, so to speak. And this is how they were acting. I mean, and I'm specifically talking about Donald Trump, obviously. I mean, he was the one who was the aggressor when it came to interrupting and not listening to rules. The moderator really had no control in that thing. And Donald Trump was a grown man throwing a temper tantrum and having a meltdown there on a gigantic stage. And it was just disgusting, to be quite frank. I mean, Joe Biden, I have to say, to his credit, did a good job for the most part of keeping his cool in a really just hostile situation. He really tried to drive home the facts, really tried to speak to the people, which was impressive. And he threw out there a lot of really important notes. Donald Trump, of course, never wants to speak the facts, just wants to throw a bunch of BS out there as usual. And that's exactly what he did. So no surprise there. And even, the one thing I will say that I thought Joe Biden did miss out on when it comes to maybe a quick little jab he could have thrown in there, or even a knockout punch to a degree, was Donald Trump talking about his rallies, his rallies that he's had in places like Tulsa and all that, and people not wearing masks and not doing any social distancing and having large numbers of people. He basically said, oh, it went off without a hitch. There were no issues whatsoever. And Joe Biden lost a crucial point where he could have brought up the fact that Herman Cain, who was a huge Trump supporter, died from coronavirus as a result of being at these rallies. So that's the one thing I would say Joe Biden missed, and it was just more of Trump's BS, one thing after the other. And breaking news that happened coming into the weekend was Donald Trump and Melania Trump testing positive for coronavirus. Yes, the virus that was claimed to be a Democratic hoax has now inflicted the person who made those claims and who didn't really believe in social distancing and questioned the use of masks and their effectiveness. So with that said, though, there are a lot of people putting out these sort of conspiracy theories. And they kind of have some sort of weight to them, to be perfectly honest. I have to say that even myself, who's not the conspiracy theorist type, is a bit on the fence about whether or not I really believe that Donald Trump actually has coronavirus. So one of the big things that I did see that was interesting was this notion of what's called the October surprise. So the October surprise is a basic political jargon, and it's a news event that is deliberately created and timed to influence the outcome of an election. A lot of people point to things like the dumping of Hillary Clinton's emails in the last election, as well as Donald Trump, the recording coming out of him saying, you just grab them by and you can fill in the blank, when he was talking about how he interacts with women and being a celebrity and the perks that come along with it. So all of that happened in October, and there's been plenty of cases like this throughout history when it comes to political elections that kind of prove to this. Now, so you have some people basically saying that Donald Trump is purposely lying about getting infected so that he can avoid more debates and avoid having to publicly speak. Because let's be honest, this last month or last week has really, in particular, has proven that every time he speaks, he does something to shoot himself in the foot and dig himself even deeper. It seems like he's kind of come a little bit more unhinged than we're used to, which is crazy to say from a guy who really never seems to have it together. But some are arguing that this is a ploy by his team to basically protect him a little bit from himself going into, these last few weeks until Election Day. And it's definitely an interesting point. I personally would like to side on the belief that somebody wouldn't go this far. But then again, we're talking about Donald Trump, and he seems to consistently surprise us in probably the worst way possible. When it comes to the things that one will do to retain power and to win, essentially. And I'm sorry to start the show on such a heavy kind of topic. I mean, that's just the way the news cycle has been this last week. So hopefully to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, I'm going to bring on a guest who really just is incredibly inspiring. His group, Major Lazer, is just one of the most culturally aware and culturally inclusive music acts out right now. They are all about unity and bringing people together from different backgrounds. And I think that's something that we really do need in this world, as we just kind of see division becoming more and more prominent, especially in this country. So to help me break down some of this week's biggest topics, as well as hopefully just, bring some positivity and push that message of coming together, I'm going to have Walshy Fire of the platinum selling group Major Lazer, who have worked with everybody from J Balvin to Travis Scott. They have a brand new single that's out everywhere right now called Oh My God with Mr. Easy, Nicki Minaj, and Kamo. Walshy, my guy, how you doing?
Chilling, man. What's up with you, man? Been a minute.
Yeah, it's definitely been a minute, man. It's definitely weird doing an interview like this. You know what I'm saying? Usually you get the vibe in person, you get to kick a little bit, but
what's crazy,
making the best of it.
What's crazy, man, is, let me tell you what's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Breakfast Club, it just don't feel the same without that energy.
It's true.
When I don't see you in the background, I'm like, oh, man. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front. Every single time I watch it, I'm really just looking at your reactions to the which, by the way, you're very good at a stone face, man.
Right, I try to be.
You're very good at a stone, no reaction kind of vibe.
I appreciate you noticing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take any attention away from their conversation. I try to be as normal as possible.
Yo, you always be in that shot, though. I'm like, yo, his seat is so perfect.
Right.
His reaction to everything.
I appreciate that, man. Well, I mean, listen, speaking of reactions, I want to get your take on a couple of things that have been going on just, in the world, in the news. But also, I want to start with the Chasing the Sound YouTube show you guys just dropped.
Yeah.
Because that was super powerful, man. And I kind of want to focus in on, you had this amazing, tagline. You said that the main mission...
Making the world a smaller place by making the party bigger.
Yeah, man. Elaborate a little bit on that, man, because I just found that to be so powerful.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Because it's something I've been saying for years, but it seems to have caught on. Mm-hmm. And, to be honest with you, that's how I felt like I was personally. I felt like I was personally networking and meeting so many people that my work kept getting smaller, smaller, smaller. And that's only because I kept doing more in the party space. Yeah. But that really is just a quote of my own reality. And I think that applies to people when they get into our world. They end up meeting people from all over the world because we're such a global sound. Yeah,
and you know what's crazy, man? You were speaking about Major Lazer and you were talking about it in the context of music, but I think it also, to me, what was so powerful is it's so fitting for this time period right now. And if more people would take the time to learn about one another's culture and things like that, I feel like we would all be a lot more unified in the way that music brings people together. You know what I mean?
Facts. Big facts.
And especially, I want to talk about, you went over, and you can tell me the name, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a castle, like a British castle in over there that where the slaves were shipped out of, and you had a very powerful moment over there, kind of just thinking about your ancestry and you know how the slaves made their way to Jamaica. So kind of talk about that experience you had over there.
Yeah, man. I was able to go to one of the slave ports where they had built a castle to transport slaves. It was called the place of no return. And I hope everybody out there goes and watches the documentary. Again, it's called Chasing the Sound. It's a very emotional moment. I think anybody out there would have felt the same. I actually hope that people feel it through the documentary. But to know that I'm not supposed to be in Jamaica, you know, I'm not supposed to live there. It just so happens to be that all of these events happened, and I became a person that lives there. I'm supposed to be living in Africa, you know, worshiping an African God and doing African traditions, speaking in African language, and you know, all of that kind of connects when you see a place like that. You realize how horrible of a place I was in a situation I was for millions of Africans.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, so obviously the slave trade went through Puerto Rico and the entire Caribbean. I mean, I look at, you know, Jamaicans, like you guys are our cousins, you know, to a degree when we think about it, even in terms of music, when you talk about reggaeton and you know, the roots of that. So it's interesting, you know, that kind of the point I was making to start was knowing your history really allows you to be open to understanding how beautiful this world is and really just how together we are, regardless of how different we may look, you know, or our backgrounds might be slightly different the way we grew up.
Yeah, I think that I have so many Afro Puerto Rican friends, you know, and myself going to Puerto Rico many times and visiting the heavily African cities in Puerto Rico. And I personally feel the same way. There's a connection between all of us that's undeniable. It's just that we haven't started a conversation on that connection. Really why I dropped that album, A Bang, a couple of years ago. And thank you so much for supporting that album. That's really why I started that A Bang project, was to initiate that conversation between the Caribbean, South America, Central America, and America. And that, like, yo, don't see yourself so different. You know, it really was just one turn of the boat, and you could have been speaking Spanish, Dutch, or French just as easily. And so I continue that project as well, man. I'm working on the second one now, and I'm gonna probably be doing something with Mad Decent as far as an album. I'm sorry, a record label, yeah, man. To continue that project, because I feel like it meant a lot to the world.
No, that's beautiful. And I mean, what I kind of see when I look at Major Lazer is whenever you guys drop something, it's more than just music. It's also like an education process into a culture. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are the type that not only you're not just grabbing the, you know, big name in that genre, in that space. You're grabbing the people that mean something to that culture, and you're actually doing your research within that culture. You know, I mean, what would you say to people who maybe aren't as well informed or as well traveled as you guys? Like, how do they start trying to find a place of understanding of the differences that some of us may have that can really bring people together?
I ain't gonna lie, man. The internet is full of stuff. You just gotta want, right? Yeah. So it's the first thing is, do you want? Yeah. If you don't want, there's nothing I can say that will get you to want. Yeah. Once you want, man, get on that internet and just start Googling little things. The algorithm is gonna work in your favor. And you'll be in rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And you'll be looking at, like, yo, look at all these Chinese people that live in the Caribbean. Yeah. Look at all these Indian people that live in the Caribbean. Like, you'll have no clue that this is all happening if you don't want to go find out. So, yeah, man, that's the first place, you know. And then pick a place that you want to go to and go there with an open mind, because it's not America. The water might not be hot. The power might go off every day at 8 p.m. There might be mosquitoes everywhere. Don't go there with this, like, yo, my AC will be turned up, and like, none of that. Go there with an open mind that this is a real lifestyle for the majority of the world. What we have in America is not the majority of the world. It's a minority of the world experience we have in America. So it's good to go see that so you can really appreciate what we do have. No,
that's beautiful, and that's very well said. And the last thing I want to ask you, this, I don't want to harp on it too much, but Every time I've ever met you and had an interaction in person, you just give off a great energy. You know what I mean? You always seem like you're just happy to be out there, happy to be doing what you're doing. But I also know you've been outspoken on certain things. I mean, I've seen you on posting on social media. You know, you're branding the merchandise of racism sucks and all these different things, right? You're making a stance and showing where you stand on these things. How do you keep such a positive mindset while all this shit is basically happening, you know, right now in this world, in this country?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And I know for a lot of people, they probably need to understand that they're not alone. What you might see is a lot of positivity. That doesn't mean I don't go through some other feelings and emotions, but I have been able to be blessed to kind of make those emotions a very minimal part of my life, and the positivity a very big one. And the reason why I believe is because I come from a negative space. I come from the projects. I come from broken home. I come from, you know, violence and drugs and all the things that a lot of other people come from. And I believe that the fact that I'm here, the fact that I'm able to see the world, I'm just a ghetto kid from Carroll City, Miami, man. And here I am talking on an interview that hopefully, you know, thousands of people will listen to and watch. I can't stop appreciating that. And that's where the positivity really comes from, brother. Is, yo, I'm just a guy who looks at life and looks at all the friends that I've had that have been murdered or in prison or just ended up their life not going the way they wanted to. And I realize I'm where I want to be. Of course, it took lots of hard work, but I'm where I want to be. And there's no way I could feel anything but positivity for that. You know, so that's my personal story. And I really hope that maybe somebody else can look at where they were coming from and where they are now and say, yo, you know what? I'm doing great. I'm doing much better than I was. And that's a great thing. Once I'm out of that old and I'm into this new, and I can look forward and say, yo, there's going to be even better things ahead. All I got to do is just keep that in mind. And yo, I'm a smile every single day.
I love that, bro. I mean, that's gratitude, right? Gratitude is, you know, as corny as it sounds, it's that typical. Exactly. So I mean, that's beautiful, bro. I mean, so, you know, to lighten things up a little bit, I don't want to just stay on heavy things because, you know, obviously there's still so much amazingness in this world, you know. Let's talk about, I mean, you guys are like the kings of collaborations. So outside of music, we saw Bad Bunny collaborated with Crocs, the shoe company. I'm always curious for you, if there was ever a dream collaboration like outside of music that you, Walshy Fire or Major Lazer could partner with, what would that be?
For me, it would be Clarks.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, Clarks.
Why Clarks?
It's just the shoe. It's just the shoe of my culture has adopted that shoe. You know, as a Jamaican and championed that shoe. So to me, that would be the ultimate collaboration.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I mean, that's I feel like that's so doable. That has to happen. If anybody from Clarks, you watch this.
I don't know anybody at Clarks. I don't know anybody at Clarks. You know, but if anybody out there does know somebody at Clarks, man, you know, I've already got the shoe design and everything. It's been on my vision board for a minute.
That's it. What do you think it is though? Like why do you think that specifically that shoe is so adapted by Jamaican culture?
Because of colonialism. You know, we were by England. Those shoes are made in England. They were exported to their various territories to create wealth for them. You know, we don't want to act like we don't know that just because we love the shoe. We don't act like, you know, the imperialistic powers are why that shoe was brought to Jamaica and grew in popularity. But it's just the Jamaican swag and sauce that got put on. But I think if you really look at it, like the desert boot is a pretty iconic shape, but a bland shoe, you know? And it's not until Jamaicans come along and roll up a foot pants and put on some diamond socks and swag it out that all of a sudden Clarks becomes this amazing, iconic shoe. So, you know, hopefully Clarks will be building a school in Jamaica one day, or building a hospital, or dropping off a huge donation to Jamaica for the contribution that Jamaica has given to Clarks, you know?
I love it, but listen, you're speaking into existence, you're putting it out there, which I love. So, I mean, let's talk about, I mean, Miami, you're from Miami as well. I mean, Lakers Heat, bro. Let's talk about the finals right now. Hey, first of all, I want to ask you, have you checked on Diplo? Because I know he's a big Clippers fan. Have you checked on him after them getting knocked out early?
Yeah, he's good, man. And to be honest with you, I just think that what we have is a great moment. Seeing words like Black Lives Matter on the players. We're seeing things like say her name, Breonna Taylor. Like, yo, I don't even care about, me as a man from Miami. I love the Heat. I don't care. I don't give a shit about who wins. Yeah. Because right now I'm seeing something happen that's amazing as far as, players, coaches, even though I know they reluctantly don't want to do it, even the owners are starting to realize, it's time for a change. Yes. And therefore they're making a statement. So that's the best part about the finals.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's beautiful to now see, whether people realize it or not, there is this unity of people saying, you know what, we have a platform. It's time for us to start using it for more than just our own, egotistical benefits of being famous and things like that. Like, this stuff matters, and we're allowed to talk on these things because we're all affected by it, regardless of, our social economic class. These are things that matter.
Right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it really is such a beautiful time period. I love that you brought that up. So, I mean, wrapping things up, talking about Major Lazer, I know you guys are you're dropping a graphic novel coming up. I saw the pre-orders start going up for that.
Yeah, man. We're up on the work right now, Dada. We're up on the works. Happening for the fans, man. It's a blessing. Big up to Ferry Gao, who's the artist that drew the comic book, man. So big him up.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. Anything else? I mean, we can expect from the Major Lazer crew. What do you guys got going on for? I know it's tough. You guys are normally out there on the road, like pretty much the majority of the entire year in a normal lifetime. So, what do you guys got planned now to kind of keep the fans engaged, aside from the novel?
Yeah, man. So to do some of these virtual concerts and get people engaged and just have a good time virtually until we can get to a live stage. So that's what we're working on right now.
I love that, bro. I mean, and last thing, how have you been dealing with this whole thing, not being on the road? I mean, you guys really are the epitome of like the road warriors, the guys who are on the road more than home. How is it not, having this much downtime?
Trust me, man. All I care about are the people that are affected by COVID. The people who have lost family members, the people who have fallen sick, the people who have lost their jobs. What we do doesn't really matter to us personally because we're okay. Yeah. There are millions of people that are not okay. So many people are going to lose their houses and lose their, and if they haven't lost their jobs, they're going to get furloughed. It's not okay. And so I don't really focus on my personal, because I'm all right, man. I'm okay. And so therefore all I can think about is the people that are not okay.
Nah, that's beautiful, bro. Well, listen, man, that's a testament to your character, and I always appreciate our conversations that we have, bro. And I can't wait till we get to do it in person.
Yeah, man, always, man. And the realest thing is I can't wait for us to sit down in person, man. I miss human interaction.
Same, my bro. Listen, man, stay safe. Congrats on everything, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, King.
Once again, man, thank you so much to my guest this week, Walshy Fire of Major Lazer. Just a solid dude. I mean, the group overall, I absolutely love everything they do and everything they stand for, and really just, bringing people together and bringing different cultures together. It's absolutely amazing. So make sure you go check out their music. They're always dropping new stuff. Of course, like I said, they have a comic book coming out, and their documentary, Chasing the Sound, is out right now on YouTube, and it just it documents this journey they took to Africa, and it's absolutely incredible. You should definitely go out there and check it out. And before I get out of here, of course, it is still Hispanic Heritage Month, so I want to make sure that I shout out a hero from our community. And this week, I wanted to honor Catherine Cortez Masto, who's actually the first ever Latina senator, and actually the first woman ever in general elected to represent Nevada in the Senate. Just a wildly inspiring person who really stands for something. She's known for her strong stance on improving foreign policy between the U.S. and Central America, fighting to combat human-caused climate change, which is obviously something incredibly important. And she's constantly pushing for more humane standards when it comes to ICE, which nobody can really stress how important that is, to make sure that, while this grave, just terrible thing is happening, these people also shouldn't be being treated as, less than human. We've seen far too many, instances where that does happen. So to have somebody like that in a position of power, aware of what's going on and fighting her best and doing her part to try and correct that situation is absolutely amazing. And once again, we need more people who look like us, who represent our values and come from our backgrounds in these positions of power. She can't do it alone, and there's strength in numbers, and we all just have to, try and uplift that next generation and encourage them to represent us in these different ways and to fight for something. So Catherine Cortez Masto, just an absolute inspiration, and we salute you for all that you're doing, and hopefully all the people that you inspire to kind of continue on this legacy. And that is it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the recap. Of course, I am Dramos, and make sure you tune in every Monday through Thursday for LATV Mornings with our girl B. Marie. She does it every Monday through Thursday on our IG. She does it via IG Live, just giving you the daily news, the biggest headlines. And of course, every week I'll be here on Saturdays to break it down with you with a new guest. Until then, talk to you soon. Bye.